County's Highway Department building destroyed today. It goes up in flames. The Cocke County Fire Chief is telling us that it is destroyed. Nothing in this building is salvageable. Here's a picture. This happening just after 11 o'clock today, around 11:30. The fire chief tells us that there were some reports of explosives that were happening in this building. That's because there were propane materials, propane tanks, other explosive materials that were being stored inside the Highway Department building that is now destroyed, as you can see in this massive fire. It's now under control. These are just some photos that we were able to get from officials today earlier this morning. This is what it looked like, but it's now under control. We have live reporters who will be joining us later on this afternoon on WVLT News as we continue to follow this. Now, the good news is that there are not reports of any injuries happening right now, but as we know, this is an area that was very recently devastated by flooding coming in from Hurricane Helene. In fact, this very building, this is some video from not too long ago in September, October, when Helene hit. This building was also impacted by the floodwaters, and now, about 10 months later, destroyed in a massive fire. We were getting reports from people who were seeing this, sending in pictures of the smoke, of the flames that you could really see for miles as this was going up around 11:30 today. We spoke to Mayor Rob Mathis in Cocke County, who gave us some details on the fire, gave us some details about the things that were stored inside of it, and he told us that they were evacuating some of the areas around there, that the Keurig Dr. Pepper plant is also very close by, and they actually evacuated just out of precaution. We reached out to them as well. They told us that out of an abundance of caution, they evacuated the Newport facility today. That's, if you're not familiar with this area, Newport, Cocke County. They evacuated the facility earlier today because of the fire risk at the building that we're talking about that went up in flames. But all the employees have now returned to that building in the area that was evacuated. Again, no reports of any injuries, and some of the areas, of course, that are not this building have gone back to business, are not evacuated anymore. But crews have been on the scene working to make sure that this fire gets under control. We actually talked to Mayor Rob Mathis, who we're going to hear from if we have a few seconds to play that interview from Mayor Rob Mathis to give us a little more context on what this means for Cocke County, of course, coming not too long after Helene.
Cocke County Mayor.
So yeah, we were just talking about it. I was just kind of curious from your perspective how you see something like this kind of impacting you guys with the efforts you're making right now with the Helene recovery.
It's obviously a setback until we can assess how much equipment was in there. It's really going to be hard to say how much of a setback that's going to be, but it's like we were saying earlier, it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to it, and we're going to do like what we've been doing, and we're going to respond in as proactive and positive manner as possible. We're going to make the best out of this.
Absolutely, and I understand, I mean, you guys, it seems like you've been through a lot lately. What does it kind of feel like for you to know, like when you get that call, like something like this has happened or a fire has broken out, like what's that initial reaction for you?
That's a kick in the gut as soon as you get the call. But then, because your initial worry is everybody okay? You want to know, is anybody hurt? Is everybody accounted for? And so thankfully that happened very quickly in this instance. So, I mean, we can't replace people. We can replace, but people we can't. So thankfully everybody's okay. And we're just going to come together like we have been doing for the last 10 months. And this is just one more thing to rebuild.
As a mayor too, I mean, not many agencies in Tennessee have their own full-time agency in the county. Usually it's a lot of volunteer agencies. So talk about the difference you think that made today, just the response time and people being able to get here, I mean, in a quickly and timely manner in the middle of the day.
Having our own fire department and also all of our volunteer departments. We have a great fire department here in Cocke County, but we also have tremendous volunteer fire departments. As you can see, the level of response, and we had many from around the county, they just showed up. And that speaks to relationships as well. It's the professionalism, and then also the close-knit relationship we have with all of our responders, whether it's our volunteer fire departments, our county fire department, police, sheriff, our rescue squad, which is also all made up of volunteers, our ambulance service. All those folks have a very close-knit relationship, and that's what enables not only a quicker response time, but a more effective response and better results for our citizens.
Yeah,
good?
pretty much all we got for you.
All right.
Covered all the questions.
You guys make it easy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Cocke County Mayor. That is Cocke County Mayor Rob Mathis, who is giving us a breakdown of exactly what happened today. Of course, if you're just catching up with us, a massive fire destroying the Cocke County Highway Department building. Flames could be seen, smoke could be seen from far, far away. Areas in that part of town evacuated. The nearby Keurig Dr. Pepper facility was also evacuated, that just out of a precaution. But the big focus right now is, of course, on the Highway Department building that caught fire and was destroyed. There is nothing, the fire chief tells us, there is nothing that was salvageable from this fire that was inside the building. And for some context, this is the Highway Department building, and some of the things that were stored in there, equipment, fuel, that was a big concern, supplies for the Highway Department, spare parts, things like that were stored inside this building. But the big concern, the propane tanks, the fuel, the things that could, of course, become explosives. And that is one thing that the fire chief told us, that there were some explosions that were reported around 11:30 when all of this got started. So that was, of course, part of the bigger concern, that could create a bigger issue. Of course, not taking away from, as you can see right here, the damage that was done as this building is destroyed. And again, nothing salvageable from this massive fire that happened. And for some context, is happening in Cocke County, which was not too long ago also hit very, very hard by the floods from Helene. And this building specifically is also one of those buildings that was impacted, that was flooding when Helene struck and came down into Cocke County. We actually had a crew on the scene there at that time. And now 10 months later, a massive fire destroying this building. We also caught up with the Cocke County Fire Chief, Cocke Keys. Here's what he had to say.
Cocke Keys, Coddykeys.
And your title?
Cocke County Fire Chief.
Awesome. So let's just break down the events that happened today, starting from the beginning. What happened today?
So at 10:23, we were dispatched to a garage fire on Lower Quarry Road. Come to find out, it was the Highway Department, the Cocke County Highway Department. I got on scene. I seen fire and smoke coming from the middle part of the building. I made sure everybody was out. Made sure of that. Everybody was safe. All the Highway Department guys are out, and they were back there. After that, we started an initial attack, trying to get water on the fire and trying to get trucks and stuff in here. That's pretty much the start of it.
Got you. So you were able to get everyone out of the building?
They were already out when I got here. Yeah.
Got you. So no injuries?
No injuries.
Fine?
Everybody's good.
That's great. I love that. Really good to hear. Now, let's talk about the materials that were inside. I understand there were some explosive type materials?
So, not really explosive type material. Yes and no. There was some propane tanks. It was a maintenance garage for equipment and stuff. So, motor oil, diesel fuel, gasoline, tires, oxyacetylene, stuff like that. And due to that being in there, we evacuated the Dr. Pepper Keurig plant. It's just northeast of us, about 200 yards, because I didn't want one of those tanks to become a projectile and shoot over there and hurt someone. So we evacuated that building, and then that was at 11 o'clock, and at 11:30 we did have an explosion. We don't know what exploded, but it was a pretty big explosion. When everybody is safe from that explosion, I made sure of that. So.
Great work that you're doing out here. I see you guys are still keeping water on this? Is this?
So right now we're kind of in what's called the overhaul stage. The initial attack's over with. Right now we're looking for hot spots. Anything that's still burning or anything that's at or close to ignition temperature, we'll get water on it, cool it off so it doesn't ignite up or blow up another tank or whatever blew up. So.
Got you. Now let's talk about damage of this building. It looks completely destroyed.
Yeah, the building itself is 100% loss. There's nothing in there that's salvageable. That it's gone.
I know it's early stages, but do we have an idea of what could have caused this fire?
There's no cause determined right now. That's still under investigation.
Got you. And then what else can you tell me about the situation that I haven't asked you about yet?
I don't know. We've had a great response from all of our volunteer agencies. They've been a great help. Newport City, Parisville Volunteer, Long Creek, Centerview, Cosby. Great response from everybody. I appreciate them very much. They've been a great help today.
Yeah, I'm sure that can be crucial when it
Yes.
comes to a
Absolutely.
big fire like this. I'm sure the fire was huge.
Yeah.
Just looking at the size of this property here, how crucial is it to be able to respond quickly to really attack the fire?
It's very crucial. The quicker we get there, the quicker we get water on the fire, the better. A human life can't survive long in a burning building. So the faster we get there, the faster we cool it off, the more chances we have of survival. So that's kind of the thing with, you know, the lights and sirens. We get there as fast as we can so we can hopefully save a life if possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for your hard work.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
That was the Cocke County Fire Chief Cody Keys giving us some extra context and walking us through what happened today when Cocke County's Highway Department building caught on fire. Look at these flames. This is what folks were seeing today, right in the middle of the day, around 11:30, when crews first reported that they were hearing explosions from what was coming inside the Highway Department building. And that's because things like equipment, fuel, supplies, gasoline, propane tanks, those all were stored inside. And I'm just now getting passed along some new information, this coming from one of our crews that is on the scene right now. Per the highway superintendent, this building, actually, you'll remember about 10-11 months ago when Helene hit, this very same building was one of those that was also damaged by the floods from Helene. And in fact, this new information right now, the building that burned down was so badly damaged from Helene that nobody was working in it. So that's some good, at least encouraging news. Also, no injuries are reported, as you just heard from the fire chief, but they don't expect this to impact severely their day-to-day operations because no one was working out of that building, again, like I just said, because of the damage done by Helene. We do have new reports that the only damage to machinery was to one truck. The mirror melted off because of the heat and the flames. They are able to break down rocks to make gravel and respond to all of their normal calls. That's the encouraging news. They did, however, lose all of their tires that were stored there in the fire. So they will have to replace those tires. Still don't have an estimated cost on what that's going to look like. And also no current cost right now on what the cost from the building loss will be, as again, it is destroyed entirely. There is some security footage of the fire. They're going to wait until they get power back on so they can access that security footage. That's probably not going to happen today, but we will be on the lookout for it. We're in close contact with the officials in Cocke County and in Newport, and they said that maybe we can get our eyes on that either later tonight or tomorrow, but we'll stay in touch with them as they, of course, are working on just getting things back up in order and making sure that this doesn't impact operations. But we will, of course, stay in touch with crews to see if we can also get a peek at the security footage. But this is what we were seeing today, right in the middle of the day. These flames, the smoke, it was billowing up. You could see that for miles across town. We were getting several reports from just friends in the area, viewers in the area who wanted to know what was going on, and this is exactly what it was. So if you heard explosives, if you live in that area, then it's because of the propane tanks that were stored inside here, along with other supplies for the highway department. So the good news overall is that nobody was hurt. However, this building is now destroyed. It's not going to impact their day-to-day, as again, this was a building that was so heavily damaged from Helene that they were not using it. But again, nobody hurt, and this fire is now under control. This is, of course, a story that we're going to continue following for you on WVLT News starting at 3:30. So I'm looking at the time here. Coming up in about a half an hour, we'll be on the air with live reports. We have two crews that are on the ground in Cocke County. So we'll continue to follow this story for you, get updates, make sure that you know what's going on in this area. And of course, we will stay up to date inside WVLT News App and on WVLT.tv. We've got you covered.